Hello, welcome all of you to this course of lecture. What I will be doing in the current and the next few lectures is to discuss about current electricity. Let me first point out that so far you have discussed charges at rest, and what we are going to do in this chapter is to look at charges which are in motion, and that is what we call as current. Now, before I go to physics of currents, let me also tell you that current occurs in nature as well. The most common one being lightning, which occurs due to electric discharge during an electrical storm. See, what happens is this, that when drops of water go and reach the cloud at fairly high height, they essentially become like ice clouds. And when different parts of these clouds they collide with each other, they usually lead to generation of electric current. And such discharge, which we call as lightning, could occur between electrically charged regions of a cloud, or between two clouds, or between a cloud and the ground. Now, of course, you all know that the power of a lightning could be quite significant, because an average bolt of lightning transfers about 15 coulomb of electric charge. Now, I wish to tell you that a single coulomb is a fairly large amount of electric charge, because you might recall that the charge of an electron is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. So, therefore, when I talk about 1 coulomb, it means 10 to the power 19 times the charge in an electron. And if you are talking about a very large lightning, then the amount of charge that is transferred could be as high as something like 300 to 400 coulombs, and a typical potential difference in a lightning could be as high as 200,000 to 500,000 volts, and that can go even up to as high as 30 million volts. In addition to this, another thing that occurs in nature and with really beautiful consequences is that sun emits gases and particles which move towards the space at a fairly high speed, and part of which also reaches the earth. And some of these which reach the atmosphere, particularly at the higher atmosphere, they happen to ionize things, and they sort of work in or circulate in the region of atmosphere known as the ionosphere. And this current, they create some beautiful sights known in the northern hemisphere as aurora borealis, or also called the northern lights, and very similar things also happen in the southern hemisphere, which we call as the southern light, or also known as aurora australis. And in fact, I have shown you a image of the aurora borealis in the northern hemisphere from NASA public website, and but they occur in different types of colors. Now, in addition, in nature there are certain fish, actually 6 categories of fish, prominent among them being eels and catfish, which also emit electric charges. Now, remember that our muscle cells have electric potentials, but in some fish they sort of evolve into cells which are called electrolyte cells, and which can generate potential differences of the order of 800 to 1000 volts or so. And much smaller scale, even within a human body, we know that many of our body functions, for example, the pumping of blood into our hearts, they take place by signals which arrive there from the brains, and these signals are also electrical in nature, and of course they are much smaller. We will be talking about their magnitude there, but basically these examples that I gave you, they are examples of situations where the current is not steady. So what we are interested are in situations where the current remains steady, and this lecture and the subsequent ones, we would be primarily interested in talking about currents which are steady, and later on we will see that steady currents also become sources of magnetic field. Very loosely speaking, electric current is nothing but flow of charges. This is the formal definition, and let us try to make this a little clearer. Now let me say that I have an arbitrary surface, some area, it does not matter, and suppose I have charges, let us say positive charges, which I will call Q plus, and negative charges group, they are Q minus, and they are passing through this surface. Now